someone ever I wrote on your note because, you know, this is so awesome. Marshall, oh yeah. Yeah, thank you. Hello.
How are you?
I guess you didn't say it.
I am. I'm finally actually. I love the cold. The hot overnight sneeze.
Tonight, no booty in here. It's a compliment. I emailed you, but you remember I talked about me at the beginning of this week? No, I guess at the beginning of the last Tuesday. Yes. My email's not working for many people. I couldn't get into a class and I emailed my advisor and they said they didn't get it, so I didn't care. But so do I just need?
I mean, are you doing the correct email?
Yeah.
I know that's how we
It says it's sent, but I meant to come and talk to you, but I just want to work every day until 4:30 and just like you know. But so I guess I actually made a motion for us to like discuss. I don't think they're going to donate it to the SGA, so the SGA, because we're going to be SGA and we're making sure that it all stays beside me, in touch with other organizations that help.
Send it all to me in.
Okay.
Double check when you email me.
That's what. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sounds it.
Carjo.
Carjo, is it on?
How are you?
How are you? This is
Just doesn't understand.
You made it. No, they're not. I don't know what costumes in it, but it sounds like
Who knows?
yeah, he is. I call this meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. If there are no objections, we will approve the minutes from last week as sent out.
Are there any students here on behalf of Open Forum? Okay, we will move into presenters. We have Mr. Jim Neighbors here again, so if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow them to present.
Hey everyone, I just want to introduce y'all to our new marketing coordinator on campus. And some of you may know him, but Alejandro Maquete is now the marketing manager here on the campus at UCA for Aramark. So let's see, he's been here a couple of weeks now. Yeah. And he's really started off with a bang. So welcome him. He's going to be doing some of these meetings with me, and you'll see him around campus posting things, all of social media he's handling now. So welcome, Alejandro. Let's just talk a little bit about last meeting. I'll tell you things that I've updated, things I know where we stand on. I think a couple of things that were really important. I know we talked about some fish options in the cafeteria, and Janet has been trying to change those out, so I hope you've noticed that she's trying. You're saying yes, you have, so that's good. So I know that we talked, and she's trying to change those out to include not just, I think we were doing tilapia way too often, and I think she's really got that changed out now. I think also we talked about doing a survey is a monkey survey that we're doing, and y'all may have taken it. I know we've had 889 responses so far, and that is a survey simply stating, what classification are you, how often do you eat here and here and here on campus. But then it breaks it down to say, if we were to get rid of Quiznos, what concept would you like to see? And it's all just, if you haven't taken it, it's just generic. It doesn't say any Taco Bell, Taco Bueno, it just says Mexican, salad, sandwich, so that type of thing. So be sure to take those. We did extend it one more day for the students so we can see if we can get more input, because about 79% of the responses so far have been faculty, staff, which is good. We want their input, but we really want the students also. So we resent it out today to the students only. So if y'all can kind of get that word out, it'll be through the end of the day tomorrow. That would help us out too, just to know really what we're trying to do for next summer. When we redo Starbucks, we possibly have that other location open. The other things are, I know we've talked about going ahead and doing a sign for the Student Center, and I have that for you. I want to talk to you about it tomorrow. I just want to make sure that I've got it broken out like we want it, because I don't know if I don't know if I did it the way you want to see it. So I've got that finished. Casey and Alejandro finished that today for me, so I'll get that over to you in the morning. We'll look at that. I think really on the other big issues, I know we talked about a few things as far as doing the 1 day a week, at least 1 day a week for a special type meal, like a soul food Thursday or a catfish Friday or whatever. And I know that that's something that SGA was going to be doing, also doing a survey for, so we can find out what the students really would like to see if we do that. And another survey y'all were going to put out, Rose, was there one more that I'm missing? Okay, well, that might be the only survey that I was looking for from you all. But I think everything else is really going good. I know if you've noticed, I know that for the probably past 4 weeks, I know Starbucks has been a little slow in service. I went in there this morning and we're finally getting staffed back up. I know we had 7 people working in there this morning at 9 o'clock, so that's overkill. But we need to keep it at that 5 level, and that's the one location that we had really lost some people. And I've gotten some comments on it through Voice of Consumer as well as through Dining Styles that I just wanted to address with you all to know that we are working on it, and I think we're back on track to get the servers there and back to a normal level for Starbucks. I really don't have anything else, so at this time, if it's okay, I'll open the floor to you all.
Senator Collins. Okay, I have 2 things. First of all, just a compliment. I'm an ambassador, and I was giving a tour to a family, and they were asking about vegan options, and they said that they've toured every campus on the state of Arkansas, and they have not had the amount of vegan options that we have here. So I think that's really awesome. I know that's something that we've spent a lot of time on through SGA. And then also, I'm just wondering, so like in the Burdick Deli, there's like baked lays, but in the Student Center, there's not. And so, is there any way we can also get those? Because I know a lot of students want those when they're like grab and go.
But you I don't understand why there's not.
Yeah, there's different chips like everywhere. Like, it's weird. So, it'd be cool if we could have these all over.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
We can do that.
Sarah Ramirez.
You're very grateful. As I stated before, thank you so much for the different fish options.
Sure.
It's really great that you could find a comment and did it happen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Anything else? Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
y'all, we appreciate it. Thank y'all, come see me if I can ever help you. All right, thank y'all.
Okay, so I will move into my report. All of you guys have seen Center for Secret Computer at. I'm gonna mention this now because people have been looking at me. So there's a cup of pens coming around, and you guys all have a card. This is for the Thank Event table. We still need to fill some spots in the album, and so if you guys throughout the meeting or just at the end want to write something, and so we could put it in there. So that's what that's for. If you see that cup coming around, and then Safe Walk reminder. So Safe Walk is this Wednesday at 5:30, and we will be meeting at UCA PD. I passed out a sign-up sheet last week, but I'm gonna pass it back around. So if you can no longer attend, or if you can come now, please add or cross out your name. I will be submitting this to Chief Murgy, and then they will be taking the list and assigning you to different zone groups. And so if you sign up, please make sure that you're there because they will be expecting you to be there. Okay, Strategic Planning Committee. So myself, Vice President Pfaff, Vice President Riggins, Senator Miller, and Senator Askew all serve on the Strategic Planning Committee. And we've had a few meetings, I think 2, and we've just spent time, we've had different departments come present to us on what they're doing, what's happening in their office / department, and how that relates to our strategic plan for the university. And so this past week we had athletics and housing come present, and so I have those, or we will have those presentations. They're just PowerPoints, and there's some really good information in them just to kind of learn a little bit more about what each department does, and especially for athletics, it kind of breaks down their demographics and the amount of student athletes that get scholarships and things like that. And so some really cool info in there. So if you guys want access to that, just let me know and I'll be happy to do that for you guys. And then accomplishments / encouragement. So we have 4 Senate meetings left. So not very many. And the spring semester will fly by even quicker, sad. But I just kind of wanted to remind you guys of some of the things that we've accomplished. SFAC has been reenacted. We did a armed services resolution. We funded one of the Bear Boots buses that went to Houston. The swimsuit policy for the Hyper, investiture reception, online viewing of meetings, well, online hearing of meetings at least, live hearing, live stream, whatever you want to call that. No staff appeals, that's a really, really big deal. Staff committee worked really hard, so shout out to them again. Recycling video, our outreach committee has been working on that, and they have their recycling video done for athletics, and we're working on getting that back so we can share it and show it to you guys. Thank Event tabling / gift, the photo album that the outreach committee and Senator Jeter in specific has been working on. And then we approved money to bring the Title IX speaker, Jeffrey Buchholz, back to campus in the spring. And so we've gotten a lot done, and I just wanted to kind of remind you guys of all that we've accomplished. And with these 4 Senate meetings, we're going to get so much more done. I know there's a lot of current projects going on, and so let's push through and make sure that they're happening. So that's all I have for that. And then Campus Talk. So Campus Talk is something that I've mentioned before, but the 3 presidents, so SGA, Staff Senate and Faculty Senate, along with President Davis, do a Campus Talk just to kind of update the UCA community on what's going on in our respective bodies. And so that will be tomorrow during X period in verdict 205. And Vice President McAfee will be substituting for me, so thank you for that. So if you guys want to know more about what the other bodies and UCA, just some current issues that are going on, make sure that you go to that and encourage students to go to that. In the past, it's been very faculty and staff. Their attendance is usually the most. There's not very many students that go, so let's just try to get some students going in. And this is something that happens a lot throughout the semester. And so I'll be getting those dates for the spring and then letting you guys know of that beforehand. So that's all that I have. Are there any questions? Okay. Let's go to Curtis.
Okay. Remember, rules and ethics, we're going to meet tonight after meeting. We have a couple of appeals to go over. And then my other one is Spring Senate, which is in May. If you are leaving our Senate for any reason, if you're graduating or if you're taking an internship like Senator Griffin is, and you will not be returning to us in the spring, you could let me know tonight, preferably. That would be great. We're going to try to fill those positions before the semester ends so we can start next semester with a full Senate in the spring, right for that. So just let me know if that applies to you.
Are there any questions? Senator Contis.
For the Senate meeting in September?
No other questions? Okay, Vice President McAfee.
Okay, so my first talking point was okay, so we'll be hosting a President Davis and with the Senate Open Forum. So this is originally going to be the day of our presidential town hall, but we figured that that would be great to have in the spring semester. So President Davis really loved that we still had time available for that, him and President Walu, that they're both available still. And so we really want to utilize that. So he wants to have kind of like a mix and mingle with just SGA. So this is an opportunity for all of SGA just to come talk with President Davis, talk about what's going on campus, what we'd like to see, get to know him a little bit better, and it'll be just super informal and just a great time to share our opinions. And it'll be on November 15th at 5 p.m. And then my next is Meet the Deans, this big segment of Meet the Deans. 1 minute. All right, our first dean of this night, of this evening, is Dr. Jimmy Ishii. Dr. Jimmy Ishii. He is the Dean of the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences, my college. So he's a great guy. And then last but not least for today's segment, Dr. Peter Mell. He is the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. So these are two other deans that serve on the basic academic affairs committee that's a part of the faculty senate. And so they work really hard to advocate for students just like we do advocating for students as well. So yeah. All right, next, Senator Fun Fact. Get ready. It's a good one. This senator has never seen the movie Up. Not once. Good luck.
He gets it. Raise your hand. Anyway, Senator Collins.
Senator Morrison.
No, I've seen it. Senator Woodley.
Senator Fad.
I'm not listening.
Senator Gifford.
Besides myself having not seen it, I also think that I heard Senator Rennie talk about this once.
Huh. Not what?
I want to talk about
Senator Hartley.
Nope.
Senator Woodbury.
Senator Malley.
No.
Senator Burton.
Senator Smith.
Well, no, I've not seen it,
It's not him.
but probably not me.
Senator Woodley.
Senator Miller?
She's so hurt. Senator Woody.
Senator Audress.
No.
Need two languages.
Senator Chapman.
Senator Burklow?
No. Senator Collins.
Senator Tarka.
No, not seeing her.
Senator Smith.
Senator Askew? I've seen it.
I've heard of that.
Senator Teeter.
No.
He looks offended.
He's offended.
Senator Ramirez.
Senator Gomez?
Nope.
Senator Burton.
Is it Senator Griffin?
No. That, okay, hint. She being Senator Griffin, is sitting on the same side as this senator. So it is someone on the right side of the Senate chamber.
Probably Senator Rivera.
Maybe Senator McGarrett.
Yay!
That was loud.
I guess both her and I thought that everyone had seen that, so it wouldn't be right.
Thank you.
Looks like we need to have a watch party.
I know. Alright, so last but not least, this Senator of the Week has been described as someone who is always advocating for his constituents in his college. I think that this, the person who sent in this recommendation said beautifully that this senator embodies the mission of SGA in all forms. He works tirelessly and with pure dedication to advocate for students and works to ensure their needs are being met and their voices heard. He is a tremendous inspiration and treats his position in SGA with the utmost respect. So, Senator Gomez, congratulations.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. Okay, and then if you'll notice in your stack of papers, you have a paper copy of the Senator of the Week nomination. So I encourage all of you throughout the Senate meeting, throughout the week, fill those out, and then they can be returned to my box by 4 p.m. on Friday. So this is just with hopes that we'll get even more nominations, and it's just a little bit more accessible for you to fill it out tonight and just throw it in my box rather than having to look for the link. It was a great idea. Worked for a few weeks, but that's okay. We're going to go back to paper, and I think I really look forward to many, many nominations. That is all.
Any questions for the birthday girl? Okay, let's put that back.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to give a quick budget update report. Unfortunately, I completely forgot to send Megan a picture so that y'all can see, but I'm just going to kind of riddle off some numbers. If you have any questions, feel free to come get in contact with me later about it. So starting with just the composite, our composite number, we have roughly $430,000 in all of our accounts compositely. So our reserve account has about $230,000, SAFA has about $85,000. So those are kind of the big accounts that we kind of look at and monitor, you know, our spending as we go. So $85,000 out of $100,000 at this point in the years. Again, we're shooting to boost that number to where, I guess, reduce that number, not boost that number. So boost the amount of money that we're actually paying out. Because obviously I'd love to see that number closer to $15,000 rather than $85,000. Because that, again, means that our money is being used. So what this will mean is that more of this money, if not spent, comes back to our accounts, or back to our reserve account, so that, again, we can kind of push this money back out for following semesters, which is, again, something that I like to push for fall allocation. So. All in all, again, we're doing great, and we're continuing to kind of look for projects, things that maybe departments are seeking funding for, sponsorships that other areas of campus are looking for, that we can kind of pitch in and put our 2 cents, if you will, so that we can make sure that, again, we're using students' fees to the best of our ability. So next, we've got a Buckholz update. So I'm going to pass around a quick piece of paper. So I'm going to start to begin to form an ad hoc committee that will essentially be just a little group of people. We'll work primarily through email to get this Buckholz event planned and broadcasted to all areas of campus so that we can get the maximum amount of people to actually show up to this event. So it's going to be a pretty big group effort, not only on our part, but on a lot of different departments' parts. So we, again, are just going to have a lot of communication that's going to need to happen, and unfortunately I cannot do all of that by myself in order to get as many people as I want to get to show up to this. So I'm going to pass around a piece of paper. Again, there shouldn't be a huge time commitment. The majority of the time commitment will be shooting emails to other people. So we'll meet primarily over email. Once I kind of select the few people from whoever is able to sign up, just kind of be looking out for an email from me, and it'll be a composite chat so that we can all kind of be familiar of who all is a part of this. So I'll get that started here once I finish my report, but I'm just asking for your name and your email that you're going to check most regularly. Because again, it'll be very time sensitive, and I know that winter break's coming up, so I'm trying to have the majority of this at least decently planned before break comes so that we're not scrambling. And I've made Mr. Buckholz well aware of this. He knows that we're going to be doing a lot of it front end, which is great. So he's going to hopefully be willing to work with us on that. So that being said, we are on for the 24th. He sent me his all-inclusive price of $4,500, and now that includes his contract and his travel, so the things that'll extend past that are most likely going to be vehicle transportation once he's here if need be, and a hotel, so somewhere he can stay, and then all of his meals. So we're looking, I know we allocated no more than $7,500, but we'll shoot well below that, so again, we're staying well under that safety net. And then finally, our last payment training. So this is more of a, if y'all are in organizations or know people who are in organizations who have received a budget from SAFA, the last payment training is going to be this Thursday. So, if people are a little bit confused, I am consistently getting people in the office who still are not understanding. That's what these trainings are for, because they help kind of walk through just that specific payment request portion. So if you are a part of an organization, feel free to come, because again, the more knowledge you all have, the more knowledge you can give. So feel free to stop by. We don't exclude anybody. So that's all I got.
Any questions for President Fox? Okay, we will move into state and committee reports, academic affairs, Senator Ettinger and Sarah.
Okay, so after this Thursday, all of the deans of the academic colleges will be met with, so great job. We have started conversations with the Faculty Senate's Academic Affairs Subcommittee regarding academic advising. Those conversations have been put on hold while the Advising Center is conducting their own survey regarding advising. So hopefully I'll have another update sometime in the future regarding that. President Wallow and I attended the Council of Deans meeting last Wednesday. Interim Provost Hargis, who is also the Dean of the College of Business, was very welcoming, as were the rest of the deans. They look forward to what Academic Affairs is trying to accomplish over the next year. So they have invited us back at the start of next semester to provide another update, as well as offer more advice for what they want to see across the university. The last part of my report is I've decided that I'm just going to do a little shout out for each college at the end of my report. So today we're going to highlight something from the UCA College of Education. So the College of Education celebrated the grand opening of the newly renovated Mashburn Technology Suite today. The suite consists of a state-of-the-art technology-enhanced classroom equipped with MacBook computers, modular furniture, and televisions, a makerspace, a digital learning commons or technology learning center, and a large meeting room. Dean Victoria Grove Scott remarked that this is not about the renovation of a space. This is about the outward expression of the College of Education's commitment to effective pedagogy. We have moved beyond the sage on the stage method of teaching into teaching as facilitating deep and meaningful learning to our students. We will use these spaces to create collaborative environments to spur innovation, creativity, and learning for transformation. Thank you to everyone who attended, and thank you to the students, faculty, and staff for your patience while renovations took place. So, congratulations to the College of Education on our newly renovated technology suite.
Any questions?
In years past, there's been a lamination machine, I think that's what it's called, in this area in the College for Education. Is it still there with the new renovation?
To the best of my knowledge, it is. I know that while they were renovating the PLC lab, they had actually moved it into another location, but I believe they moved it back. Awesome. But I will get confirmation on that.
Thank you.
Also, a little fun fact, before we were known as the Bears, we were known as the Pedagogues, which is just another word for teachers. So that was our old mascot. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions for Senator Ettinger or Sarah? Okay. Diversity, Senator Markley.
Hey, so our RSO Mix and Mingle will be pushed back to Thursday, February 8, 2018 for more convenience and planning purposes. So it can only get better from here. We're looking forward to it, so stay tuned for that. The Diversity Committee is co-hosting a vigil for International Education Week, and that'll be held next Friday, November the 17th at the Students Amphitheater from 8 to 9 after the International Poetry Slam in Wynn Thompson. I met with Tyler Copeland today, and we discussed more of the event and expectations of everything, and everything is set and ready to go for next week. And he's sending me an electronic flyer so I can send to Vice President McAfee. And then it is Islamic week this week. They have different events going on all week. So today they have Get to Know Abraham and Islam in Old Main 114 from 6 to 7:30. Tuesday we have a booth during X period in front of the Student Center. Wednesday, Get to Know Muslim and Student Center 215 from 3:30 to 5:30. Thursday, Get to Know Women in Islam, Student Center Ballroom 3:30 to 5:30. And Friday they have a food festival at 2:30 at the Muslim Center of Conway. And Saturday they're volunteering at the animal shelter at 10:30 in the morning. And Bear Arts here on campus is hosting a sexual education program this Wednesday called Sex on Stage. So it's at 7 o'clock in the Student Center Ballroom if you guys can continue.
Any questions for Senator Moore? Okay. SBAC, Senator Harden.
Hey, bear with me, with a little bit so hoarse. But our first meeting was last week. It was a good, productive time. We came up with our goals of transparency, accountability, accessibility, to review, report, recommend, and collaborate. The formal mission is the mission of the SGA Student Fee Advisory Committee will be to ensure the ideals of transparency and accountability with regard to use of student funds by university officials are upheld through a thorough process of review, disclosure, and collaboration. That'll be in the minutes if you didn't catch that. It's okay. We've created a timeline through spring 2020 with 5 fee hearings per semester. There'll be like 3-hour sessions maybe if that, and more logistical details are coming out. Memo language will be softened over the next couple weeks and turned into Diane Newton prior to Thanksgiving break. Dr. Peter Mell and Dr. Tane Duncan will be in our committee meeting on Wednesday from 5 to 6 to talk about experiential learning and student fees. Mr. Ronnie Williams also would like to come speak with us, and I'll be sending him an email very shortly about coming on the 15th at the same time in Student Center 201. And I contacted Chad Hearn today of Student Accounts to figure out exactly who is in charge of each fee so we can send them the memo when we do get to the hearings. So that's facts rolling.
Any questions for Senator Brandon? Okay, we'll move into goal committee reports, campus interactions, Senator Miller.
Hello. Okay, so we had our meeting at 4 p.m. today, and unfortunately Senator Dykes is under the weather, wow. So she was not with us, but she did send in her survey questions, so we will be getting that to the PR committee to hopefully have a survey ready to go next Monday. So if y'all just be looking for that, it'll probably be it's the first one of the year. Wow. So surveys are incredibly important, so if y'all would just really get behind us and distribute as many as possible to as many people that you know, because it's very important. Thank you so much. She also let us know that she has a therapy dog coming on November 14th. Super cool. She doesn't have any details for me yet, so whenever she's better and we actually get to have a conversation, I'll give you guys more updates. But from what I know, she was looking into reserving a booth at the Student Center, but she wanted to walk around with the dog, so I don't really understand. But we'll figure it out. There's going to be a dog on campus. That's the important thing. Next thing, Senator Marbley, literally, guys, sent me, where is it? This is what he gave me today. He went to a meeting and typed up his own minutes and distributed them to me. He's incredible. But basically, his meeting with the College of Education Dean went really well, and we got a lot of information about what child care services could really look like. And so in our exec committee meeting on Thursday, he's going to kind of be presenting that to the whole committee to get y'all's feedback, because we would really appreciate it at this point in time to know how to move forward to make sure that we're covering all of our bases. So shout out to Senator Marbley. And also the Campus Interaction Committee and the Diversity Committee are going to partner together to promote on-campus jobs that are available, because that's a need that we saw and Diversity Committee saw. So we're just going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, put that out together. So we're really excited. And then he is also looking into the short-term goal of asking around about why we don't have a homecoming king or a Mr. UCA. That was an idea of Senator Marbley's. So we're going to look into that. And then also Senator Mendez, yay, he came to our first meeting, didn't he? But he is going to be working on talking with the PR committee to discuss having like an SGA booth in the Student Center maybe
every other week, a month, potentially a couple times a semester for senators to be able to volunteer their time, to get to know the students, for them to just be able to swing by, sit down, talk about what's going on, if they have any concerns or questions, just for our senators to be able to be more recognizable and more personable with the student body. So just having a dedicated time a couple times a month to be able to have the opportunity. So that's exciting. Senator Willie is meeting with Lindsay, Lauren, Shirley next week to talk about, her whole name, to talk about kind of having a session dedicated to non-traditional and international students and looking at when that could happen. And also looking at the timing of fall convocation. So I got to meet with Mr. Hank, and we looked at that Monday morning of Welcome Week. We typically have academic college meetings at 10, so if we had fall convocation starting at 9, that would help the schedule. It wouldn't, nothing would really have to be rearranged. So she's going to meet with Oz to discuss the details of that. So hopefully that'll work out for everybody. And then Senator Rivera is contacting the PR committee, she already did, to see if we can get a campaign going of just meet your senators like every week and highlight one of us. We've done that in the past, but just getting that up and running again, because she said that one of her sisters goes to another larger university, and that's something that they do, and that was really beneficial. So yeah, that's really all I've got going on. Super exciting. Oh, and we're getting a cardboard cutout of President Davis. It's happening. So that's exciting. That's all I have.
A lot of great work. Thank you. Any questions for Senator Miller? Okay, I was eating food. Senator Beardy.
We met last Wednesday. It was kind of late, but we'll be doing our next meeting, our next few meetings at Wednesdays at 5 p.m. instead with that time cut down. This Friday, we're meeting at 5 p.m. Wednesday, we're going to CBC, and we have a meeting with Senator Barnes is researching the schools that have in-house food service and cost of service. Senator Chaplin, and then survey questions and participants and us will be happening today. So I've been in contact with Katie Fraser, and she's food trucks that are parking outside. It's not one company that you don't know about their food trucks. Donahue Hall has access to apartment programs, and Senator Sierra had the idea that we should allow RAs and coaches to have access to this plan as well, so that they're motivated by one agencies if they want to. He also attended a meeting with another international students for active cafeteria, so that's cool. I tried to do this last week, but the other party now has spinach and mushrooms. We're doing research on food service with universities, and the one that they use coming this year.
Any questions for Senator McGurdy? Internal Affairs, Senator Morrison.
Okay, we are still working on the bylaw that deals with the merits. We're restructuring it and making a lot of good work, and we hope to have that previous notice next week. And then after that, we're going to look into rearranging the committees, maybe moving some of the goals up to committees and having ad hoc committees instead of goal committees, if that makes sense. So we're got a lot of things going.
Any questions for Senator Morrison? Any? Outreach, Senator Stump. We met last week painfully in the morning, and so we decided we're not going to do it again. So we moved our time again to Thursdays at 5:30. So if you're ready to catch Outreach Committee, that's when you can do that. Then capital update, we have a tentative date that our committee likes, and so I'm going to be meeting with Kelly Erstein, trying to invite him and get some contacts for the Capitol and see when the best time for all of us to meet would be, but I do have a tentative couple of dates to throw at them to see if those would work. Then we also provided our representatives among the committee for 4-year public institution contacts so that we can be letting them know that we will be having our big event again in the spring. Our DACA resolution is back. So we took all of y'all's feedback very carefully, and so I'll discuss that more whenever it comes back up in new business. But we really did try to take all of y'all's voices into consideration when we were editing this resolution. So I will say that a lot of hard work is going into making that better. Then one thing that's not on the resolution that I'm going to throw out there right now is that we do have a co-sponsor, but I didn't find out about it until Megan's already put them out. So let's be
Office of Community and Diversity has agreed to co-sponsor this. They liked our new one and they said that it was great. So they did decide to co-sponsor this with us. I yield the rest of my report to Senator Teeter to talk about the Think of That table and about how we're going to be getting these gifts to veterans, parents, and all of that. So I yield the rest of the report to him.
All right. So you all got the cards. President talked about that earlier. Just write a little note on there, sign your name on it. After Senate, if you'll just leave them on the table, I'll pick them all up. So we've got this album. We've been putting them all in there. So what we're going to do is, and I'll talk about this in my video report for the universities. We'll be giving that album during the Veterans Ceremony on behalf of the student body.
Any questions for Senator Teeter or Senator Stott? Okay, safety, Senator Askey.
All right, so this week, basically what we've kind of been working on is getting last year's campus climate survey reviewed for new goal ideas. And also we will be working on coming up with some goals specifically for disability, handicap accessibility on campus, stuff like that through OT and PT. That's basically all I've got for this week.
Any questions for Senator Askey? Okay, Student Resources, Senator Collins.
Okie doke. My committee's been very busy these last couple weeks. This last week specifically. So we are working on the Bear Central boxes. I met with a student, her name is Leslie Haynes, to try to get these boxes all mapped out. We are going to, I'm going to present to exec this week to kind of get something finalized, and I think that that'll move pretty quickly after that. I'm also meeting with President Davis. Many of you guys know Haley Harp. She served on Senate before. She has expressed to me some issues within the athletic training department where they do not receive anything extra other than like a polo and a pair of khaki pants, and they have to go to every single game, and they spend a whole lot of time working with the football team. They spend a lot of time at practices and such, and so just talking to him to see if there's even like an extra polo so they have two, that way they don't have to wear the same one, seeing if there might be anything that we can do to help them out. The closet is on the ground and running. Senator Ramirez and Senator Abbott is doing a great job of making sure everything is already ready before they present the plan, and so they're working to make sure every T is crossed and I is dotted, and they're going to be sending out an email this week to Career Services to see where we can go on this. We're really excited about that. Senator Comer met with the Bear Card office. We are not further pursuing this simply because we already have a wear and tear policy. So if you do have problems with your Bear Card, they have examples in the Bear Card office. So if you have broken it, then you do not get a free one. But if it is just from like running it through too many times, then you do. They have certain standards that they go by. And then our committee is going to be pursuing the 24-hour shuttles during finals. I've reached out to a few contacts, and I'm waiting to hear back on that because we know that that's really important to be able to keep students going back and forth to campus. And if we can't get the 24 hours, at least extending those hours, especially during finals. Our committee is meeting after Senate today because over half of us were sick on Thursday, so we moved it to tonight. But we will have a regular meeting time this Thursday as well. And we're really excited to get some new things started. I'm going to yield the rest of my report to Senator Burton to discuss the bike share and the computer screen changes. So, Senator Burton.
Okay, so I'll start with I think I might have mentioned it in a couple meetings past. The library computer screens and the lab computer screens had an idea of making that an advertisement for student organizations. I reached out to Roger Gelwicks of IT and tried to work bottom up with IT, and he was really supportive of the idea and its technical implementation. And he pointed me to Erica Rubel of Creative Services, who is also supportive of the idea, and we're having correspondence right now. In a later report, I'll talk about bike share, but there's been discussions going on, and at least next meeting, you'll probably be hearing a formal proposal and all that's following.
Any questions for Senator Burton or Senator Burton? Okay, we will move into university committee reports. Are there any university committee reports? Vice President McAfee.
Great. So I have the privilege of serving on the Civic Action Planning Committee. And so to summarize this really complicated process, the university joined kind of a coalition to where our campus will host a civic action on campus with the community however we see fit. And so this committee has been broken down into subcommittees where I work with a few other faculty and staff members. And our subcommittee has been charged with kind of thinking of ideas to cater specifically to the students, where other subcommittees are catering to other parts of campus. And so we had some great ideas to bring to the full committee, and our subcommittee is full of a few competitive spirits, and so we're really excited that our ideas were really taken to heart and being considered, and we should find out what we'll be working on within the next few full committee meetings. Our number one charge out of 5, and I'll just share the most important one to us, was to host a Citizens Academy. So this would be a place where students and faculty and staff on campus could interact with city officials and just citizens in Conway, and really work together to see what's best for Conway, as well as the university, and just keeping up with civics and learning about it at the same time. So we're really excited to bring that to the full committee, and we're hoping that we will win. So.
Thank you. Any other university committee reports? Senator Teeter.
Thank you. So I attended the Veterans Day University Committee, and what they're doing is just make sure everything's okay going on with that. I will be presenting the Think of Vet table, all those cards during that ceremony. I'll also be reading our resolution that we passed a while back on veterans, and I'll be speaking on behalf of SGA at that event. So I really appreciate y'all coming out on November 9th, so Thursday, in front of McAllister on the lawn out there. And if it's rained, we're going into McCaslin, like the ballroom area over there. And that's going to be from 1 o'clock is like when the vendors are all going to come out. There's going to be free t-shirts. Let's see, the ceremony starts at 1:40. There's going to be a flyover, so we're going to put some bombers flyover. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, so appreciate if anybody comes out.
I also just realized that I said Wednesday was Safe Walk. It's on the 9th, so it's on Thursday. Sorry. Thank you. Senator Whitby.
So as historian, I've been assigned with 3 different tasks. The first task is to keep track of all things that we've done successfully, and so I've been keeping a up-to-date document with that. I've also been assigned with filling in the missing blanks on the SGA OrgSync, the history page website. And so I've reached out to Jimmy Bryant. He's the director of the archives, and he's kind of leading me into that direction as far as where to fill in the missing timeline periods. And the last thing is to also gather a full list of names of presidents that have served on SGA. So that's what I'm going to work.
Senator Burton.
So I attended the Study Abroad Advisory Committee for Rose today. Really good committee. We talked about creating some policies pertaining to study abroad, and then they approved a summer language and cultural immersion through ecological sustainability trip, where we're going to be sending American students to Mexico and Mexican students to America to study about water sustainability issues, and it was voted unanimously to approve, and so that's really cool. I'm sure that's going to be pumped out more. We also talked about the study abroad scholarship pot got $20,000 larger this year. It's going to have 80 grand as opposed to 60,000 last year, but that won't be able to roll over until, or they can't roll it over next year. So the people that have applied for the scholarship will just reallocated money. Hopefully you guys applied this year, next semester, and get some of that money. So it's there for everyone to use. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any other university committee reports? Senator Scott?
After the this did meet, but this is
Any other university committee reports? Sarah Burton?
This is painful. The bike-friendly university committee met today. Senator Otteros was there with me as well. Our primary topic of discussion was the bike share program. Finley Vincent of the City of Conway, streets engineer, came and was talking with us a little bit. We've both been in contact with Zagster, but there's going to be a little bit more logisticals that we're going to need to work out before next meeting. And there's going to be an announcement rather soon about something on our campus. Be on the lookout around the 8th or the 9th pertaining to bikes and the campus, and we've been certified, so yay. Yes.
Any other university committee reports? Okay. We will move into unfinished business. We do not have any. We will move into new business. Is there any new business? Senator Greta.
Just make the motion, is that how that happens?
Do you have a motion card?
I do,
Yeah, just.
Okay, I move that UCA SGA amend bylaw B, Article 3, Section 1 and 2, page 19, in accordance with the previous notice.
Second. So this is the previous notice that the Internal Affairs Committee presented last week. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that UCA SGA amend bylaw B, Article 3, Section 1 and 2, page 19, in accordance with the previous notice. Discussion, Senator Persia.
Okay, yes, this will be for the purpose of fixing errors, inconsistencies, and to simplify committee reporting.
Any other discussion? No discussion? Okay. We will move into a roll call vote. Yeah. It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA amend bylaw B, Article 3, Section 1 and 2, page 19, in accordance with the previous notice.
Abbott? Askew?
Yes.
Hodges? Yes. Volley?
Yes.
Barnes? Barclay?
Yes.
Burton?
Yes.
Taplin?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Colmer?
Yes.
DePersia?
Yes.
Dykes? Edgar Lucera?
Yes.
Eichelberger? Gilbert? Gilbert?
Yes.
Gomez?
Yep.
Griffin?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Lockings?
Yes.
Lavera?
Yes.
Marbley? I vote yes. McGarity? Mendez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Asile?
Yes.
Thack?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Redding?
Yes.
Riggins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Sebastian?
Yes.
Sierra? Smith?
Yes.
Stock?
Yes.
Charka?
Yes.
Teeter?
Yes.
Whitby?
Yes.
Willie?
Yes. With 37 yeses, 0 nos, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes. Any other new business? Senator Stock.
I move that the UCA SGA adopt the resolution titled Back to Resolution.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA adopt the resolution titled DACA resolution. Discussion, Senator Scott.
Read this here with me, because I'm not a public reader. Whereas the third action for childhood arrivals, hereon referred to as DACA, was an American immigration policy that allows minors who have entered and/or remained in the United States illegally to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and to be eligible for a work permit. Whereas approximately 800,000 individuals enrolled in the program created by DACA. Whereas to be eligible for the program, recipients may not have felonies or serious misdemeanors on their records. Whereas according to a statement released from UCA President Davis, a recent Cato Institute report found that an immediate dissolution of DACA would have a $60 billion negative impact on the federal government, a $280 billion reduction in economic growth over the next decade. Whereas DACA was resigned by the Trump administration on September 5th, 2017, but full implementation of the rescission was delayed 6 months to give Congress time to decide how to deal with the population that was previously eligible under the policy. And whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would give legal status to unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA, therefore be it resolved that the Student Government Association at the University of Central Arkansas offers wholehearted support to the students and those members of the community who are affected by the removal of DACA. Okay, so with the concerns that basically we heard from the last time we presented this resolution, y'all had a lot of problems with like where we got our facts and like citations, specifically also dealing with like the economic issues that come with the removal of DACA. And so we had kind of an issue as a committee, just going through all of the stanzas that we had and just putting in citations because we wanted this to remain more of a resolution and not an academic essay. So what we have done is taken out the stanzas that deal primarily with the economic portions of the information revolving around DACA, and we condensed it to just a single stanza, the fourth one down, and we cited it in President Davis's in his press release that he gave on DACA. So all of that information is quoted straight from his press release. So we have also cited any economic changes that would be a result of DACA in that stanza. Other than that, we just kept everything the same, except for we shortened the third stanza a little bit also, but we tried to give y'all more citation and more background and less things where you might want to question where we got our information and more broad things that people just kind of know about DACA if you've even Googled it before. And then we also did send this to Erica Gutierrez, and herself and the Office of Community and Diversity have agreed to co-sponsor in support of the new resolution that we're presenting to you all today. Any other discussion? Senator Gilbert.
I'd like to make one friendly amendment in the third stanza, where it says, whereas to be eligible for the program, recipients may not have felonies. I'd like to change the word may to must.
Are there any objections to that friendly amendment? We will change the word from may to must. Any other discussion?
Senator Mendez rising. I do support this resolution today because it is a very important issue in our community and throughout the nation as a whole. But I do have a reservation in the last whereas clause, and I just want to address that. The way it's worded, it's saying that President Trump passed the torch to Congress, telling them to give legal status to these DACA recipients or decide to give legal status. And what actually happened is that President Trump just passed the torch. He doesn't really, well, his position is give them legality, but build the wall. So it's a conditional approach, and that's not really addressed in this, and it's making President Trump sound as if he is backing with DACA support, which is just untrue. So I would just like to make 2 friendly amendments that would make this just sound.
Okay. Point of order, it'll have to be a formal.
Oh, would it have to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can get motion cards. Any other discussion? Vice President Pfaff.
Okay. I too would actually like to make a quick friendly amendment, and it's in the fourth whereas clause, and it's right where it says, according to a statement released from UCA President Davis, UCA President, comma, Houston Davis, comma, because it's stating his title and then his name, and so it would be appropriate to state his full title, full name.
Any objections? Senator McCreary.
I would think of, amendment to remove the comma after the beginning and the first whereas.
Any objections? Sarah Morrison.
I just want to rise in support. I think it's really great that we are, that y'all took the time, that Senior Stocks Committee took the time to write a resolution and to rewrite it, and I think that shows a lot of initiative, and this is a very important issue and affects a lot of students on campus, so I just think it's really great that SGA is putting out a resolution. I just wanted to thank y'all for doing that.
Any other discussion? Senator Edinburgh-Lucero.
I would actually just like to make a friendly amendment in the fifth stanza, where it says, implementation of the rescission was delayed 6 months to give Congress time to decide how to deal with. I would like to change deal with to address the population, soften the language.
Any objections? Any other discussion? Sarah Mendez.
Senator Mendez rising to make a motion. I move to amend the last whereas clause. Do I say the motion?
Yes.
That the motion would be to strike give in the last whereas clause, line 2, and change it to decide. And the second part of the amendment today would be to strike 2 in the last whereas clause, line 2, and change it to of. And what this would do, it would just give it that.
Point of order, that would be.
Would that be two?
It would be in discussion. Yeah. Your reasoning is set in discussion.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Second.
Okay.
Sorry.
It has been moved and seconded to amend the last whereas clause to strike give. In the last whereas clause, line 2, to decide, and to strike 2 in the last whereas clause, line 2, to of. Discussion, Senator Mendez.
Can you read the whereas clause with the changes?
Okay, yeah. The whereas clause with the changes would read, whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would decide legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Therefore be it. So what this does, it would just make it more not like opinionated of what Trump's stance is, because currently the whereas clause given kind of gives him a stance that he's for DACA recipients staying in the country, which isn't a fair suggestion, and I don't think as the SGA we should input that political agenda in some sort of way. So I think this would just make it more level to not really say that. Yeah.
Any discussion on that motion? Yes. But I can do. Senator Osler.
I would like to make a correction to the correction. I don't know if that's what I meant to say, but where he says decide, I would prefer determine, because I feel like it fits better rather than decide.
If you, yeah, that would be another amendment. So if you want to do that, they can get your motion card. Any other discussion? Yes.
Okay, yes, so, okay, I know he mentioned changing the word of somewhere on there, but didn't say it out loud, so I was just wondering if you could.
I'll reread it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll reread it with the proposed change. Whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would decide legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Does that make more sense now? Okay. Is there any discussion? Sarah, stop.
I rise in support of the amendment. The purpose of this last whereas clause was to create that neutrality on Trump just being so anti-immigrant, because I didn't want any kind of opinion on him. I just wanted support for this. So if this amendment is going to make that even more so what the purpose of this clause was to do whenever we added it in, then I'm totally okay with adding and adjusting those words. So I rise in support.
Any other discussion? Did you have your hand up, Sarah Mosley?
Sorry?
Did you have your hand up? Okay.
Is this where I read out? Okay, I move that decide be changed to determine in the 6th whereas clause of the DACA resolution.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that decide be changed to determine in the 6th whereas clause of the DACA resolution. Discussion, Senator Osley.
I feel like that would be a better use of word than decide. When you say determine of rather than decide of.
Okay, so I'm gonna read it again so that it makes better sense to you guys. Whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March of 2018 that would determine legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Senator Collins.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to add the word "the" after determine. I feel like it would just flow better to say that would determine the legal status of people.
Wait a minute, you can't make a friendly amendment to an amendment of an amendment.
Okay.
Vice President Babb.
Yeah, so as a point of information, so if this were to pass, we could make a friendly amendment to the already then voted on amendment.
Sounds great. Thank you for your clarification.
Any other discussion on this motion? If you guys have questions, please raise your hand. If you are confused, please raise your hand. No? Sarah, I agree with Sarah.
Point of information. So we are voting, just to clarify for everyone, we are voting on the proposed change to the amendment, not the actual resolution right now.
Correct. And this is also separate from what Senator Mendez motioned. It's an amendment to the amendment. Confused? Anyone? Please speak now before we go into voting. We're voting on the word determine. That's all we're voting on right now. So if this would pass, then give would be decided, would be determined.
Decide
Yeah, if that would, yes. Okay.
Determined.
Did I confuse anyone even more? Was that, I confused you even more?
Well, the point of information,
Senator Burke.
you can't pass both.
No.
So you can't pass both. You have to.
Because if you pass this one.
You have to either pick, is it going to be
Can you
determined
please stand? Sorry.
or decide? Because if you vote yes on both, which one do you want in the resolution?
Yes. Okay, so that was confusing.
Okay, well, I mean,
Senator Burke. What we're voting on right now is if you want to have the word decide or determine. If you would like it to be determined, you vote yes for this amendment. But if you want it to be decide, you vote no for this amendment, and it goes back to the verbiage used by Senator Mendez, which was decide. Does everybody feel better? Determine is yes. Decide is no.
Point of information,
Yes.
doesn't the amendment also include the word of, and the second friendly amendment, or second amendment
We're not
doesn't
on that
include of? Okay.
We're only talking about the one word, decide or determine. Determine is yes, decide is no. Okay. There we go. Any other discussion? Okay.
It has been moved and seconded that the word decide be changed to determine in the 6th whereas clause in the DACA resolution. Roll call vote.
Abbott. Askew.
Yes.
Address.
Yes.
Volley.
Yes.
Barnes. Barclay.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Chaplin.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Colburn.
Yes.
DeFerja.
Yes.
Dykes. Ettinger Lucero.
Yes.
Eichelberger. Gilbert.
Yes.
Gomez.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Walkings.
Yes.
Lavera.
Yes.
Marbley.
Yes.
I vote yes. McGarity. Mendez.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Morrison.
Yes.
Osile.
Yes.
Bath.
Yes.
Ramirez.
No.
Redding. Getting.
Yes.
Riggins.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Sebastian.
Yes.
Sierra. Smith.
Yes.
Stock.
Yes.
Tarka.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
Whitby.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
With 36 yeses and 1 no, the amendment to the amendment passes. Okay, so this is what the new whereas clause says.
The new amendment.
The new amendment, sorry. Whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would determine legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. We will now resume discussion on the amendment. Senator Stark.
Kelly, is this where you wanted to add determine the, is it the amendment?
Yes, I thought I had to wait.
This is,
I do have to wait.
This is the, so we have to pass this before we do that? Yeah. Cool.
Any other discussion? Okay. It has been moved and seconded to strike give in the last whereas clause. Line 2 to determine, strike 2 in the last whereas clause, line 2 to up. Roll call vote.
Abbott. Askew.
Yes.
Address.
Yes.
Volley.
Yes.
Barnes. Barclay.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Chaplin.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Colmer.
Yes.
DePerja.
Yes.
Dykes. Ettinger Lucero.
Yes.
Eichelberger. Gilbert.
Yes.
Gomez.
Yes.
Griffin. Hopkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Walkings.
Yes.
Lavera.
Yes.
Marbley.
Yes.
I vote yes. McGarity. Mendez.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Morrison.
Yes.
Osile.
Yes.
Bath.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Redding.
Yes.
Riggins.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Sierra. Smith.
Yes.
Stock.
Yes.
Tarka.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
Whitby.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Thirty-seven yeses, 0 nos, and 0 abstentions. The amendment passes. Okay. Sarah Collins.
I would like to make a friendly amendment to add the word "the" after "determine."
Any objections?
I object.
we will resume discussion on the resolution. Senator Gomez.
I would like to make a friendly amendment on the second whereas clause. Right now it says whereas approximately 800,000 individuals were enrolled in the program created by DACA, but DACA is a program. So I don't know how it will be rewarded exactly, so. Yeah, strike created by.
Strike what?
Created by on the second whereas. Well,
objection.
Okay, that would need to be a motion. Point of order, Senate is not at ease. That would need to be a motion. Because it would change the meaning. Discussion. Senator Collins.
I move that we amend the motion to add the word "the" after the word "determined" in the sixth stanza on the line 2. Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the word
I'm not a good writer.
to add the word "the" after the word "determined" in the sixth stanza on line 2. Discussion, Senator Collins.
I feel that adding the word "the" just makes it flow better. When you read it now, it says, whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would determine legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Instead, it would say that would determine the legal status of I'm sorry, can't speak today. That would determine the legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. I feel like this just makes it flow, and I feel like this is more grammatically correct rather than not having the word.
Senator Gilbert.
I rise in opposition of this. I don't feel like "the" is needed in there at all, and I think that actually including the word "the" right there actually differs from the actual meaning of the sentence. And that's why I objected to her friendly amendment for the person who wrote it.
Senator Askew.
I rise in support of this amendment. I also, like Senator Collins, believe that this helps it flow better and that it would be more grammatically correct.
Vice President Powell.
Senator Gilbert, yield to a question. Sure. You said it deters from the meaning of, but you did not state how it deters.
In English, using adjectives and articles, which are articles such as "the" and "a," can often deter from the meaning of sentences because it actually forces the reader or the listener of it to focus in on those extra articles rather than the actual meaning of what the sentence intends. And this is done on a subconscious level. And so by eliminating the word "the," we actually focus the center of the sentence on the word "legal status" as opposed to "the legal status." Okay. Hopefully that was able to answer your question.
Discussion. Anything else? Anyone else? Senator Whitby.
As an English major, I rise in support of this motion just because it sounds better.
Any other discussion? No. Senator Hawkins.
Rise in support as it focuses more on legal status than it does, I guess, like President Trump. Like it focuses more on the reason for Congress passing it by adding "the." So that's why I rise in support.
Any other discussion? Senator Mendez.
Senator Mendez rising in negation of this amendment. The way that the whereas clause was worded, it just sounds more professional. I think that adding "the" just makes it sound more elementary to the reader. And when we look at legislation in place, they don't really use these articles often. You're talking about a specific instance or a specific idea. So there really isn't a need for "the." It just makes it flow better for some people, but I think it makes it look more professional if we keep it out. So in that purpose, I think we should not pass this amendment, sorry.
Any other discussion? Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we add the word "the" after the word "determine" in the sixth stanza on line 2. Just for the purpose of clarification, I'm going to read it with the proposed amendment so that you guys can see how it sounds. Whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would determine the legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Roll call vote.
Abbott? Askew?
Yes.
Address?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Barnes? Berklow?
Yes.
Burton?
Yes.
Chaplin?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Comer?
Yes.
DePersia?
Yes.
Dykes? Edgar Lucero?
Yes.
Eichelberger?
Yes.
Gilbert?
No.
Gomez?
Yes.
Griffin? Is that a yes? Sorry. Okay. Hawkins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Walkings?
Yes.
Lavera?
Yes.
Marbley?
Yes.
I vote yes. McGarity? Mendez?
No.
Miller?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Osile?
Yes.
Bath?
No.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Redding?
Yes.
Riggins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Sebastian?
Yeah.
Sierra? Smith?
Yes.
Stock? What'd you just say? Tarka?
Yes.
Teeter?
Yes.
Whitby?
Yes.
Willie?
Yes.
With 33 yeses, 3 noes, and 1 abstention, the amendment passes. Okay, now we are back to discussion on the yes, to the resolution. Senator Gomez.
I move that the words created by in the second whereas clause be strike through.
Second.
Who seconded that? It has been moved and seconded that the word created by in the second whereas clause be striked. Discussion, Senator Gomez.
Well, the program that was created was DACA, so that's what I mean. It's not 15 created, so.
Any other discussion? Senator Morrison.
This is how I thought it was. This could be wrong. Someone could maybe correct me, but I thought DACA was the piece of legislation that was passed, and then it went to the bureaucracy, which actually creates the programs that implement legislation. So I think DACA is the legislation, so the program's been created based off the legislation. But so I thought it was fine, but that's just what I learned in AP government.
Sorry. Sarah Mendez.
Senator Mendez Rising. To clarify the previous senator's point, DACA was a direct program created from President Obama's executive order back in 2012 that was a 3-part executive order that protected immigrants, reinforced our border among combating immigrants that we already have in this country. So DACA was a direct program that was implemented from that executive order. So it is a program. It's not like a legislation that was written new. It's a direct program.
Point of information.
Yes, Senator Collins.
Well, Senator Stock, yield to a question.
Senator Stock.
What was the intended meaning of program? Like, what exact program were you all referring to?
That's why I seconded it, is because we were referring to DACA program, so it was just something I didn't catch when we were typing it out.
Awesome, thank you.
Point of information.
Senator Gilbert.
So, by deleting the words created by, does that mean we would also change the word policy in the first stanza to be program? Because otherwise it has policy and programs have two different meanings. That was what my understanding was. If we just try to do especially, I guess.
Senator Strong. Can you? Senator Redding, can you?
Yes, what's the question?
So the question was, since we are eliminating the words created by in the second stanza to emphasize that DACA is a program, wouldn't we need to say that DACA is a program in the first stanza instead of a policy?
I agree, those words should be the same.
Okay.
Senator Ettinger, Lucero, did you want to yield to that?
I can yield to that question, yes, okay. So DACA itself was the program created through President Obama's executive order. DACA itself is American immigration policy though. So if you want consistency, yes, you may change the word policy to program to reflect the additional stanza. But it is not necessary because DACA is immigration policy.
Senator Mendez Rising, to speak on this as well. It is a policy and it is interchangeable with the program. It was a program to combat a specific issue. That's what policies do, not only in the United States but throughout the world. It's just how policy works. You could have an issue with policy. DACA was a program created to combat an issue. It is interchangeable with policy. There's no need to change or make any more in that regard.
If you would like to, did you want to finish?
Point of order, until this possible motion is made to change the word policy, we cannot discuss the meaning of the word policy. We can only discuss the motion at hand, which is in regards to the words created by.
Senator Collins.
Point of information. This is when Robert's rules gets confusing for me, so I might be completely out of line here. But to just avoid that whole thing, since they were intending to say enrolled in the program created, they were just talking about DACA anyway, can we not just strike out the program as well as created by and just say we're enrolled in DACA? So strike the words the program created by. Can we just add those couple words right there? Does that still change the meaning?
That's just not what this, we just can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Senator Mendez.
Senator Mendez Rising to make a motion. I move to amend the amendment of.
Point of order. We've already spoken twice.
You can only speak twice.
On the motion.
Senator Mears.
Ramirez Rising, I do not support the motion being provided to strike out created by. Later on, I have another motion to present, but that will satisfy the whole sentence. But I do not support created by because created by is there for the program itself. So I have a motion after the roll call whenever that's offered for that. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Senator Redding.
Point of information, I thought you could only speak twice until there were no other hands raised, and then you could speak again. That's what I was under the impression of, and just maybe incorrect.
It's just twice. Yes. Yeah, Vice President. So technically, it's everybody should get to speak once, and then if you want to speak again, then your turn is up. Like you would get to do it again, but you only get to speak twice on any motion. For the limits, or we would be debating for hours over small things. Any other, Vice President Bob?
So to clarify, colleague, President, Vice President, wow. Vice President Reagan keeps track of the people that have spoken, right? So say 4 people raise their hands, she writes those down in the order that she can as quickly as possible and then makes notes. So, for example, if I were to speak first, then I would have to wait until every other person that's raised their hand, they get to speak before I can speak again. And once I speak again, you have 2 times to clarify your position on the argument, and then you don't have another opportunity. So it's essentially saying you can't just pander. You have to actually get your point across, and you have 2 times to do that.
And that does not include point of information.
Correct.
Discussion. Sarah Gomez.
I move that we strike the word "the program."
Yes.
We're still on the creative
Yeah.
language.
We need to. We will go into a quick recess for 3 minutes.
Yes. But that's why I said,
So like, is it like on some situation, or is it just on the person like one? I moved to make it.
That's what
That really messes still
We were speaking of the amendment proposed
I'm sorry. Right.
Yes. I have a but I'm gonna have like all I have to do is really point of information, how long is it? How long is the recess left? We would be, we're good? Okay, I didn't know that had to go by certain time.
He probably would, actually.
Actually, don't be like
I'm writing this just.
Senate back in session, please return to your seats. Before we move on any further, just a reminder, before making a motion, just think about everything holistically so that we do not spend 15 minutes debating on the word "be" like we just did. So before you make a motion, just consider everything that could come with it. Because I think everybody, including myself, is getting confused at this point with everything going on. So with that being said, we will resume discussion. Sarah Martin.
Oh, I thought she had. Okay, I thought you had people like that written down. I was trying to get into one. I was first one on your paper?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to send back to. I didn't know. I was going to move the previous question, but nobody said anything, so I was just going to kind of wait until somebody gave some more discussion. Then I was going to move the previous question. So I'm going to sit back down for a second.
All right. Vice President Powell.
Okay, so currently we are discussing removing created by in the second stanza, whereas stanza. I completely support this, again, for the simple reason that a program cannot create itself. That's what we are voting on. A program can't create itself. Whether it's policy, program, whatever, that comes later. We're voting on taking created by out.
Any other discussion? Sarah Ramirez.
Senator Ramirez Rising. The rhetoric of the third stanza does not really stand. Created by DACA. So Senator Ramirez has a motion. If this motion fails, there's a motion for this to satisfy
Point of
the
order.
effect of the clause.
Point of order. We're discussing this motion. So you can't make a motion.
I am not making a motion.
You can't discuss another motion that hasn't been previously made.
Okay.
Any other discussion on this motion? Any confusion? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, we will move into a roll call vote.
Abbott, Askew,
Yes.
Audress,
Yes.
Folly,
Yes.
Barnes, Berkla,
Yes.
Burton,
Yes.
Chaplin, Collins,
Yes.
Palmer, DePersia,
Yes.
Dykes, Ettinger Lucero,
Yes.
Eichelberger,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Gomez,
Yes.
Griffin, Hopkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Lavera,
Yes.
Marbley, I vote yes. McGarity, Mendez,
Yes.
Miller, yes. Morrison,
Yes.
Osile,
Yes.
Bath,
Yes.
Ramirez,
No.
Redding, Riggins,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Sebastian,
Yes.
Sierra, Smith,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Targa,
Yes.
Teeter,
Yes.
Whitby,
Yes.
Willie,
No.
Okay, with 31 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstention, the amendment passes. Okay, so we are now back to the original motion on the resolution. And the change was, in the second whereas clause, it now reads, whereas approximately 800,000 individuals were enrolled in the program DACA. And now we're discussing the entire resolution. Senator York.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to put a comma behind the word program in the second whereas clause before the word DACA.
Any objections? Okay, we will add a comma. Sarah Murray.
I'd like to move to previous question.
Second.
Well, this is, yeah.
Senator Rodriguez. Point of order. What is he talking about? Oh, what are you doing? Okay. So, moving the previous question ends debate. It kills debate completely. So next, President Lalu will do a 2/3 hand raise vote, and if 2/3 of Senate is in favor of moving the previous question, meaning we end debate and go straight into a roll call vote on the entire resolution with all the new changes, so I've marked it all up, then we will do that. But if it fails, then we will keep debating.
Okay. All in favor of moving the previous question? All those opposed? Oh, sorry. Raise your hand again. If you want to move the previous question. Okay, all those opposed? Okay, passes, so we will move into the previous question. So, roll call vote, sorry. We're moving into roll call vote. Once we move into voting, there's no more debate or point of information or anything, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. The motion is to adopt the resolution titled DACA Resolution. Roll call vote. Oh, the entire thing? Okay. Whereas deferred action for childhood arrivals, hereon referred to as DACA, was an American immigration policy that allows minors who had entered and or remained in the United States illegally to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and to be eligible for a work permit, whereas approximately 800,000 individuals were enrolled in the program DACA, whereas to be eligible for the program, recipients must not have felonies or serious misdemeanors on their records, whereas according to a statement released from UCA President Houston Davis, a recent Cato Institute report found that an immediate dissolution of DACA would have a $60 billion negative impact to the federal government, a $280 billion reduction in economic growth over the next decade, whereas DACA was rescinded by the Trump administration on September 5th, 2011, but, what did I say? So sorry. September 5th, 2017, but full implementation of the rescission was delayed 6 months to give Congress time to decide how to address, determine. No, address. Okay. To decide how to address the population that was previously eligible under the policy, and whereas President Trump has urged Congress to pass legislation by March 2018 that would determine the legal status of unauthorized immigrants enrolled in DACA. Therefore, be it resolved, the Student Government Association at the University of Central Arkansas offers wholehearted support to students and those members of the community who are affected by the removal of DACA. Roll call vote.
Abbott. Askew.
Yes.
Audrez.
Yes.
Foley.
Yes.
Barnes. Bertlow.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Chaplin.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
DePersia.
Yes.
Dykes. Eddie Lucera.
Yes.
Eichelberger. Gilbert.
Abstain.
Gomez.
Yeah.
Griffin. Hawkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Lockings.
Yes.
Lavera.
Yes.
Marbley.
Yes.
I vote yes. McGarity. Mendez.
Yes.
Miller. Yes. Morrison.
Yes.
Asile.
Yes.
Bath.
Yes.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Redding. Riggins.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Sebastian.
Yes.
Sierra. Smith.
Yes.
Stock.
Yes.
Tarka.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
Whitby.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
With 34 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 abstention, the motion passes. And just for a little reminder, whenever we pass a resolution, this is now the stance of SGA. So if you voted no or whatever the case may be, this is what SGA voted to pass, so this is our unified response. And this is forever like archived into our history, so it will always be in there. So just a reminder about that. Okay. Any other new business? No. Okay, we will move into announcements, and I'm being selfish and I'm starting with myself. So today, kind of lighten the mood a little bit, it is our wonderful Vice President of Operations, Megan's 21st birthday. So we're going to sing happy birthday to her.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
1, 2, 3, go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Megan. Happy birthday to you.
We sounded great, awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Vice President Marketing.
I have 2 announcements. Number 1, please return all of those pins, and well, you can keep the SGA pins, but the colorful markers, those are mine. If you could put them back in the bucket or the cup, that would be great. Second, a reminder to please be getting your flu shot. This is a personal feeling of mine. I think we can see that multiple of us in here are a little bit sick. And I think it would be, it's my personal opinion that everyone should get their flu shot. So if you would like to know why I feel that, please meet me at another time. But if you decide not to, everyone needs to be washing their hands, getting enough sleep, drinking a lot of water, and that'll help with all of the sickness burner.
Dr. Tarka.
Yes, I had already some very informative and important meetings with Senators Martinez, Tark, and Persia, other freshman senators. I have scheduled with Senator Teeter, but I need to hear back from Senator Smith, chaplain in Burglow. Senator Lockings, we need to reschedule. Senator Mendez, I need to send you an email, or if you're on that list, come see me now after, and you can schedule 15 minutes, just academic and SGA checkup. You might even buy a hot chocolate, right?
I'm a freshman.
Same. Senator Collins. Okie dokie. Well, sadly, somewhat sadly, but mostly happily, because it'll be a fun time. The Miss UCA pageant is on Friday at 7 p.m. and our lovely Vice President of Operations, Megan McAfee, is competing. And I'm just going to say, for the last 3 years, a Miss UCA has been on the Senate, and no one else is competing in the Senate chambers. So hopefully the Senate chambers are giving her good luck on Friday. But it does start at 7. It's $5 if you have your bear card. So please come and support. Mostly Megan, but everyone else as well. Thank you. Location. It is at Reynolds Performance Hall at 7 p.m. Once again, I did say you have to support everyone, but mostly Megan.
Senator Lucero.
Reminder that the Academic Affairs Committee meets after this. If you are in other committees, such as Rules and Ethics, that is also meeting after this, please just let me know so that I know where your location is.
Senator Teeter.
All right. So once again, those cards, just slam on the table or give them to me after Senate. And I also want to say, as we speak right now, there are members of our UCA family that are going around. They're putting ribbons on all the trees and putting up the monuments. So on your way back to home, wherever that is, be on the lookout for those things. Thank you.
Vice President Reagan. If you're not on Rules and Ethics, please leave quickly after Senate so we can meet.
Senator Ashley.
All right. I no, it's not quite 7 o'clock yet, but for those of you who do have meetings after Senate, at 7 p.m. Bear Patrol will be starting. So if you don't want to walk all the way back to your dorm or car in the cold, wet, weather, call Bear Patrol at 450-3111.
Senator Smith. Point of order. Senate is still in session. Senator Sebastian.
So the African Students Association will be having a masquerade ball on November 16th, and it's funded by SGA, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll work hard on this, and we'll work to kind of make this fun. We'll be providing the masks for everyone. It's going to be fun. Y'all should please come.
What is the attire for this event?
Black tie, like
yes. I need a day. Thank you.
Senator Audras.
Yes, just to remind everybody that next Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. in the Student Center Amphitheater, there's a global expo, so it's just a big thing where every country is going to have event where every country is going to have a table and they're going to come and show stuff about their country. So if you're interested, you can just come by and eat some stuff from different countries and just learn.
Yeah. Any other announcements? Senator Sebastian.
Also, there's a culture event we'll be having. Not we will be having, but the Office of Diversity. I think it's the Bridging the Gap, and it will be consisting of the African Students Association, the Caribbean Students Association, and the, I don't know what you call it, the American. Yeah, but yeah, there'll be like a kind of, unifying cultures and stuff. So you guys should go November 14th, Student Center Ballroom, 7 p.m.
I just wanted to add that at Bridging the Gap, they have food. Last year I had 4 plates.
Any other announcements? Okay. Sorry.
Pray for Megan.